Welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. We're going to start off with three simple questions. I'm going to give you the history. I'm going to tell you about myself and then show you some of my customers. So let's get started. First question, do you want to leave a legacy for future generations? Number two, do you want to save taxes year after year, generation after generation? Number three, do you want to learn the secret of the rich? If you answered yes to all three questions, please stay with me for the next half hour. Imagine saving 4, 5, 6 figures in taxes every single year. You can use this money to put back into your business, to buy a new vehicle, pay off your mortgage, take your family on a well-deserved vacation, give to a charity, or save retirement, or do it all together. Imagine nobody knows what you own, where you own it, how much you own, what you do with it, and how much you sell it for. Imagine all lawsuits become frivolous and go away. How much time, anxiety, worry just disappear. Welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. My name is Sally Gimmon, and I'm the owner of thetrustisyou.com in a free class on the Great Discovery. Just go www.sallygimmon, first name and last name squished together.com. You're going to get a 23-minute presentation, very similar to this one, 3 articles from Forbes magazine, 2 pages of case law so you can research this to your heart's content, and examples of clients saving thousands of dollars. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I know what you're thinking. How come my accountant hasn't told me about this? How come my financial advisor hasn't told me about this? How come I haven't learned about this? It's not taught in schools. Accountants go to trust attorneys. CPA, financial advisors talk about the family trust. There's nothing wrong with the family trust. My mom and dad had one, and Susie Ormish sells it on TV. The family trust only avoids probate and then dissolves and goes away. This is not your mom and dad's trust. This is what the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, and the Kennedys have. Follow the breadcrumbs of the rich. This started way back in 1564 when King Henry VIII started the Church of England. That famous king who chopped off his wives' heads, started the Church of England, murdered a few ladies, hey, start a church. He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and they went further back to the Magna Carta in the 13th century and said, oh, no, King Henry VIII, you can't do this. It's contract law that came to the colonies while we were still part of England. The law firm I work on behalf of inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023, before we were a country. The law firm I work on behalf of was started by a Harvard law professor named Paul Benson, who wrote 5 specific trusts to save specific taxes. There's the business trust to save federal and state income taxes, the beneficial trust for investors who no longer pay taxes on profits, the senior trust if you're over 35, if you're over 65, making too much money, it can affect your Part B of Medicare. There's a charitable trust if you have a 501c3 company, and finally a mineral rights trust. I've only sold one of those. One of my real estate investors, as a client, inherited his granddad's horse farm in Oklahoma that has 6 oil wells on it. The oil wells are separate from his real estate investing. Now, it's legal. It's in the IRS Tax Code 643B. It's been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and both times it's been favored. You can't get more legal than this. If you Google Tax Code 643B, please do. I want you to do research. You will find an opinion letter from the IRS. They specifically say they do not like Tax Code 643B, and they do not behold to the irrevocable, complex, discretionary, non-grantor spendthrift trust. That's their opinion. I have plenty of opinions myself, and I bet you have opinions too. So let's go over those 5 elements. Irrevocable. It goes from generation to generation to generation. The Rockefeller Spendthrift Trust is 7 generations old and has almost 400 people under the same EIN or employee identification number, their tax ID number. The Joey Rockefeller does his own 1041 tax return, and everybody else does their own tax returns. Irrevocable, complex. This trust will hold money day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, century to century. Again, 97% of the trusts sold in the United States currently are like my mom and dad had, the family trust or the living trust. The only thing that does is avoid probate and then dissolves. This trust avoids probate, avoids inheritance tax, and saves you taxes. It's what the rich have. Irrevocable, complex, discretionary. Whoever is the trustee or trustees can make the rules for the beneficiaries. I have a husband and wife who have 4 apartment buildings in California. Their adult daughter lives in the apartments rent-free. She has a slight problem, and they're requiring her to do 4 random drug tests per month to say they're rent-free. She actually sued her mom and dad in federal court. The judge looked over everything, and he said to her she has 2 options. Option 1, take the drug tests and pass them. Option 2, move out, start paying her own rent. I don't want to be invited to their house for dinner. Irrevocable, complex, discretionary, non-grantor. Again, the difference between a family trust that my mom and dad had, my mom and dad were the grantors, and when they both passed away, the trust dissolved. Here, when you start the trust, you're going to have someone who is not a beneficiary or a trustee sign up to be the settlor or the grantor. It's not a speed bump. You do need their social security number. I've done this for several of my clients. It's easy to do. Irrevocable, complex, discretionary, non-grantor, spendthrift trust. The Spendthrift Trust has been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and both times it's been favored. You can't get more legal than this. Now, Paul Benson, who was a Harvard law professor, wrote 5 specific trusts, and now his grandson and great-grandson run the law firm, so the law firm's name has changed. They have the copyright on the Benson Financial Trust, and in 77 years, not a single client has ever been audited, and only one client has been questioned by the IRS. We call it the Myers letter. If you want a copy of it, I can send it to you. They are so confident about what they sell, they will give you a certification saying if you get questioned by the IRS, they will defend you free of charge. My personal story. My watershed month for me was October 2018. 3 major things happened for me. I'm living in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm working as a Medicare broker. My nephew's getting married in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 28, 2018. You know anything about Medicare? Open enrollments from October 7th to December 5th. Anybody on Medicare can change their policies. I'd worked for the company for more than a year, and I requested the Friday before the wedding and the Monday after the wedding off, and they said no. Didn't like working for them before that, and liked working for them even less after that. Second thing that happened, my 3-week-old car, I'm driving to work to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm on Indian School Road, a major east-west road in Phoenix. I'm the second car through in a green light. Some bozo runs a red light, hits me on my passenger side, and bozo has no insurance. I had property damage of $25,000. My car was worth more than that. It was a sports car with a moonroof. I was upside down on my auto loan, and I had to get a second auto loan, and I went from being comfortable to eating ramen noodles twice a week. Just like I did in college when I was 20 years old, but now I'm 53 years old. Third thing that happened. My mom and dad lived in Goodyear, Arizona, 25 miles west of Phoenix. They drove from Goodyear to Charlotte for the wedding, and we're supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. Thursday before the wedding, my dad calls me to say my mom's in the emergency room. He's not sure what's wrong. I worked Friday before the wedding till 8 o'clock, drive myself to the airport, take a red eye from Phoenix to Charlotte, land about 7:15 in the morning. Family tradition, we go to IHOP for breakfast, and then my dad drove me to the hospital to see my mom. I walked in on the priest giving my mom last rites. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't know she was that sick. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I go to a church wedding, then we go to a country club. I ate too much, I danced too much, I drank too much, had a fabulous time. Next day, Sunday after the wedding, my sister-in-law puts on this beautiful buffet for all the out-of-town guests. My dad and I leave at 12:30 to go visit my mom in the hospital, and then he dropped me off at the airport because I had to fly back to Phoenix because I had to be at work at 6 o'clock the next day. It ended up my mom had septic in the blood or blood poisoning. It got into her pacemaker, so she had to have open heart surgery, have her old pacemaker taken out, a new pacemaker put back in. She was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months. Thank God she got better and came home. She only lost 13 months of memory. My dad stayed with my mom for 9 months in Charlotte. They were supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. So I'm going out to their house every weekend to do the mail because he wasn't ready for that. First week of December, a letter 27 pages thick was my mom's Medicare statement. It said emergency room and 1 month on the ventilator was $72,000. My dad was a retired military officer. They had TRICARE for life. Everything's being paid for. I'm standing in their kitchen. I have a $10,000 deductible on my health insurance. Thank God that accident in October, no ambulance was called. I have student loans because I went to graduate school. I have a mortgage. I have credit card debt, and I don't like my job. So right then and there, I called my friend Glenn, who had invited me to a real estate meeting back in August of 2018. Glenn answers, and I say to him, I need to change my life today. He's like, Sally, next Saturday, we're having a Christmas potluck dinner. Bring a $5 gift and some food, and I'll meet my fellow real estate investors. Going to a party where you only know Glenn and Rhonda and nobody else, and they were going to show up late because they were going to go to a Christmas pageant, not my idea of fun. So it's a condo on Camelback Road, one of these 24-story buildings. I'm at the door. This guy walks up. We introduce each other. I find out he's my third cousin. Didn't even know he was in Phoenix. Kind of small world. At the party, I meet my mentor, Jay Tannenbaum. And in 2019, with his help, I wholesaled 7 properties nationwide, and I paid off $184,000 in debt. Woo-hoo! I'm a rock star in my real estate group. I was a good real estate investor. I knew about capital gains, and I had $50,000 sitting in my bank account. Fast forward, April 4th, 2020. My CPA calls me to say, congratulations, Sally. You made so much money. Your tax bracket went from 22% to 24%. You now owe $94,000 in short-term capital gains. April 4th, 2020. COVID started around St. Patrick's Day. 3 of my properties didn't pay me on April 1st. So this is, most people don't realize there's 4 ways to file taxes. Single, most expensive way. I'm single. Married, filing jointly is the cheapest way. Married, filing separately, expensive. And head of household. So I went from 22% to 24%, and I made approximately $190,000 in 2019. So I went out to his office late in the afternoon, signed the paperwork to get on a monthly payment plan, got my parking validated, go down to the parking garage, and cried in my new car for 20 minutes. You know geography? Scottsdale's east of Phoenix. I had to drive back to Phoenix at sunset. My mom, who was Irish, my great aunt Kitty in Ireland always said, sleep on it. When you have a problem, sleep on it. A fabulous book to read is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. That's what I did. I slept on it. Next morning, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Knew I had read an article about the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office. I researched it, and for the next 5 months, I researched the Spendthrift Trust. In September of 2020, I started both my business and my beneficial Spendthrift Trust. I petitioned the gentleman who ran my real estate group. I actually sent him 2 different emails saying I want to be a mastermind, first female mastermind in the group. He was on vacation for the first email. The second email got him on the day he came back. So I started teaching in my mastermind group every Thursday at 6 o'clock. Give me 1 second, because real estate investors need to know this. This was my first house. I bought in July of 2020 for $20,000. It was going to go to auction for $50,000. I knew that spread, $30,000 I was going to make without lifting a hammer, at 24% would be $7,110. It was held up because of COVID. It didn't go to auction until August 28th of 2021. When it finally went to auction, I made $44,326, woohoo, without lifting a hammer. More importantly, I got to save $10,368 in short-term capital gains I would never have to pay back. I actually put it into more real estate. This next slide. Beneficial trust is going to save the following 5 taxes. You will no longer pay capital gains, interest income, dividend income, rental income, and royalty income taxes. Royalty income taxes are taxed a little bit less, between 10% to 35%, so they're not on the slide. But if, depending on your tax bracket, you make $50,000, depending on your tax bracket, it's just how much you'll pay for that $50,000. Short-term capital gains are for people who are selling crypto, forex investors, wholesalers, fix and flippers, auction houses, and tax liens. Interest income taxes are for passive investors, people in mutual funds, and Riich. If you're doing subject to real estate, the BRRRR strategy. I personally have notes where on the paper in the house, people pay me their mortgage. You're doing creative financing or seller financing or a forex investor. Yes, forex investors, you get taxed twice: capital gains and interest income taxes. You need the Spendthrift Trust. Dividend income taxes are for people who are in the stock market, day traders, options traders, fortune investors. Maybe you're doing commodities or living on dividends. You could be saving those taxes. And then rental income taxes. If you have short-term rentals like Airbnb, vacation rentals, 3 doors, 5 doors, 10 doors, 20 doors, multifamily, apartment buildings, commercial property, you're doing Airbnb arbitrage or rental arbitrage. Yes, you can put a property with a depreciation schedule into the trust, or a property with cost averaging into the trust. After that, you no longer have to do that because you're going to never have to pay for doing depreciation or cost averaging again. And then royalty income taxes are if you're in the NFT world, you are an actor and actress, a musician, an author, an artist, have copyrights, patents, or intellectual property. This is what the beneficial trust does for you year after year, generation after generation. All 5 trusts that Paul Benson wrote are going to save you in 3 very important ways. You'll save taxes year after year, generation after generation. Your information is completely private. Nobody knows what you own, where you own it, or how much you own. Number 3, all lawsuits become frivolous and go away. That's an amazing thing. So if you have renters whose dog gets out and bites the mailman can go after the renter, but cannot come after the owner. Now we're switched over to the business trust. This is for all U.S. business owners, U.S. entrepreneurs, U.S. franchisee owners, and 1099 income earners. If you're making at least $80,000 a year, you will save at least 90% on your federal income taxes, and you will no longer pay state income taxes. Year after year, generation after generation. My mechanic in New Jersey, he actually used the money he's saving in September when school started. He went to the local high school and hired 2 kids who want to learn auto mechanics. He's paying them $15 an hour, can bring in more work after school and on Saturdays, and saving more money. My salon owner and hairdressing school in Los Angeles, she's making $1 million a year. She's saving $33,467 per month, more than some people make in a year. My Shopify owner who sells earrings, she was 23 years old when she started this. In 10 years, she will have saved over $173,000 she'll never have to pay back. My home inspection company in Ohio, with the money they're saving, they hired a 7th inspector. A real estate broker in Illinois, he's saving $4,979. I also made a presentation to his top 7 agents who all made over $100,000. They all bought a Business Spendthrift Trust, and because he's my affiliate, he also got to make $7,000. A dentist in California is using his $2,483 to pay off his student loans. I work with business brokers. The gentleman who sold the HVAC company that he started at his kitchen table, he saved long-term capital gains. The gentleman who bought the HVAC company is going to save $20,052 per month. He's adding a 13th truck. He added a 13th truck in 2024. He will add a 15th truck in 2025. A real estate agent. This is one house she sold in August of 2023. I saw her at a Christmas party. In 2024, she sold 6 more houses and saving federal and state income taxes. A business coach in Indiana, a chiropractor in upstate New York, a franchisee sub-shop owner in Ohio. He took his $40,122 and opened a 3rd location in Ohio and saving even more money. An Amazon store owner in Oregon, a commercial light salesman in Chicago, and a paid speaker. These are all examples of people saving money. Whoops, what did I just do? I just hit the wrong button. Let me go back. How did I do that wrong? Okay. Sorry about that. That was my mistake. I did it wrong. Long-term capital gains are either a year or more and affect you if you're selling business, selling investment property, or a baseball card. A 27-year-old son saw my TikTok video, told me his mom and dad were selling a 42-year-old restaurant that his dad, Jim, and his brothers built, as is. Talked to Jim and Sue. I'm not a CPA, so at 15%, $3 million is $450,000. At 20%, it's $600,000. They would not have to pay April 15th, 2024. They were working with a business broker. So I called Sam, their business broker, to change the contract. Sam's like, I make high six figures. I need the business trust. Told him about my affiliate program. He told Michael, who was buying his 7th restaurant in 3 different states. Michael started the business trust. Sam got paid an extra $1,000 for being my affiliate. This is one of my favorite stories. I took my friend Ingrid door knocking on a cold, blustery day in March of 2023. Went to our favorite New York style pizzeria and ordered a white pizza. We sat there and we chatted for 2 hours. And as we got to leave, Mario, the owner, asked for my business card. A week later, I met Mario and Marianne. They were just doing their 2022 taxes. They knew their 2 locations were making about $15,000 gross. Times 12 is $180,000 a year at 22% tax rate. Take 90% of their taxes, that would be $27,193 they'll be saving, plus North Carolina state income taxes of $7,710. For a full year, they're going to save $34,903. 2024, they opened a 3rd location. 2025, they're going to open a 4th location. When they retire in 3036, they're going to leave 2 pizzerias to 1 adult child, 2 pizzerias to another adult child, no inheritance tax, and the adult children will continue to save federal and state income taxes. Every time I sell a trust, I donate $100 in my mom's name. She grew up food insecure in Ireland. My granddad died December of 1939, start of World War II. I can palm a basketball. Her fingers were an inch longer than mine. Now, if you would like to reach out to me, you can either set up a 30-minute tax breakthrough session with me at www.thetrustisyou.com/scheduling, or you can go out to my free class on the Great Discovery. You're going to get a presentation similar to this, 3 articles from Forbes magazine, 2 pages of case law to research this to your heart's content, and examples of my clients saving thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm going to stop recording this here, open it up for question and answering. Again, the trust is legal. It's in the IRS Tax Code 643B. It's been in front of the U.S. Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.